You know I try to be a good man, I always give it my best. But truth be told, someday I wanna go to the wild, wild west.
And now, live from our Smokehouse studio, it's time for Real Estate Jerky. All your real estate questions answered by a provocatively lean expert host, Ed Parcaut, MBA, veteran, and president of Lending for Living. And today's special expert guest, real estate advice you won't find anywhere else. Plenty to chew on, starting now.
Good afternoon. It's great to be here with the show that's near and dear to my heart, Veterans Day and Real Estate for Veterans. Joining me today are veterans and realtors, Brian Halstead and Jose Jauregui. Get it right that time?
Yeah.
All right, finally. Only taking me a year. It's great to have you back, Jose, and it's nice to have you here today, Brian.
Thank you.
Hey, before we get into the show, all year I look forward to helping people get into homes, helping people understand what we're here for. And our number one goal at Real Estate Jerky is to get you on the path to home ownership, and that's a way to build personal wealth. And that's why we're here. Today's show special is focused on American Dream for those who have served our country, veterans. So let's our listeners kind of know who you two are, and so they know how you're an expert and that you're a veteran. So we'll start with you, Brian. Tell me about the service you were in. What were your MOS, that kind of stuff?
Well, I was in the U.S. Army. My MOS was 11 Bravo.
For people who don't know what that is,
a ground pounder.
So infantry,
okay. Yeah. And then I was in from 80 to 84. I was a paratrooper the first year, and then I went to the Berlin Brigade and enjoyed the city of Berlin quite a bit, and enjoyed being in the Army. And then now I've been at real estate for 4 years. So
when you were you joined the service. Where were you located when you joined the service? Were you in this area or somewhere else?
Yeah, I went from Modesto.
Okay, and you joined. Why the Army? Not that there's anything wrong with it. I'm a Navy person. I'm just curious.
Yeah, well, but the Army was, from what I saw, it was the quickest one to get me on the ground working. I joined at the time Reagan said we're going to go get our hostages free out of Iran. And I got to my unit trained and out of jump school by January 9th. And I figured that was plenty of time to get to the unit and get on a plane and get over there. And guess what? They let all the hostages out.
Well, at least you joined for a good reason, and you probably don't know this, but my son he graduated boot back in August. Now he's at his AIT in San Antonio. He is a 68 whiskey whatever medic is. So,
excellent.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
And what for him, the reason he picked Army, he went to all the different ones, but they were the ones who guaranteed what he would get all the way through. What his job is, go to AIT, and now he's also going to, for jump school afterwards, all that good stuff.
And that's outstanding.
Well, not to his mom, but anyway.
Yeah.
All right, Jose, we a lot of listeners probably don't know about you, but you were on here a year ago right? Because you were around Veterans Day. And why don't you tell people about you and how, what service you were in, how you got joined, why you joined, all that about you.
Yeah, well, I joined the Army in 2003. I was in from 2003 to 2007. I served in South Korea and Iraq. Out of Stockton.
Right. No, you're Linton, right? What was the
Linden?
town? Linden.
Yeah. I went to high school in Linden and, Stockton, same thing.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That's like saying Modesto series.
Yeah.
Modesto's
same,
Keys.
Yeah. Well, I left in 2003, kind of middle of the whole Iraq conflict, so tried to do my part, and here we are.
All right. And you've been an agent for how long?
I've been an agent now for a year.
Wow.
Time flies.
And how long? You said 4 years?
4 years, yes, sir.
Don't call me sir. I work for a living. Only military get that one.
Yeah.
So what got you, let's go back to you, Brian. What got you into real estate? Because you were a PD?
Yeah, I was Stockton PD. And I've been investing in real estate since about 1993. And actually what got me into real estate is I dealt with a lot of agents. Some were good, some were bad. And
ain't that a fact?
I wanted to be a good agent. I wanted to help people out. I was retired from the police department, and I just wanted to be able to help people out and be that good agent that was out there to work with them. And so I did it. And then my wife did it 6 months afterwards. She got her license. And we both we formed the Halstead team. And we're doing pretty darn good.
Good. Yeah. And I'm going to go to you, Jose. You wanted to be an agent because of?
Well,
just because you wanted to? It's okay. There doesn't have to be a major reason. It's just sometimes people have reasons.
Yeah, no, well, I like when I bought my first home, I liked that feeling that, finally being able to purchase a home, American dream. And I'd like to help people have that same feeling. So.
Yeah, there's nothing like the first-time home buyer getting their first home and the feeling they feel. I've been hugged more times by those people than anybody else. After that, it doesn't have the same feel for most people as it does that first one. That first one's like amazing to them. Don't you feel the same way?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And and one of the things I like helping more than anything else is veterans get into homes. I think that's a very underserved and and I'm going to jump off here, taken advantage of in our industry a little too much sometimes. Yeah. And I'm talking the lending side of the industry. There's companies who, I don't want to say prey on them, but it seems like they take advantage of the veterans, and you shouldn't take advantage. Yeah. We're really trusting usually, being in the service and how we get out, we trust more than other people, I think, and sometimes we get taken advantage of. And so it's important to have the people in place who won't take advantage of you, who are there to protect you. You feel the same way?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, wow, that was quick. Now we're done for the show for the day. All right, so you retired the PD, Brian, and then you have 2 daughters? I don't know how personal you want to get into this.
Yeah, we have 2 daughters and 1 son.
Okay. And are they in the real estate too?
No.
Okay. No. Are they young? I don't know the ages.
Yeah, I got a 30-year-old daughter, 19 or 29-year-old. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
And
I have 5. I forget their names and their ages.
She's a speech therapist, and I've got a son that's 25, and he's working for UPS in Reno, working at their hub there, and enjoying life, going to UNR. And then our daughter's at home with us. She's 20 years old, has our grandbaby who gets to live with us, thank goodness. And we're just enjoying those kids,
Right. I understand. We have our last one finally getting out next Friday.
Nice. Congratulations.
We'll be taking a video and popping a cork of champagne saying we're empty nesters. Post that all over Facebook and everywhere else so people know.
Don't use the room up, though.
No, we are using the room up for a reason. There is no coming back season.
Okay.
Go live with your other sister if you need to.
Yeah.
Love her to death, but it's time. She's 21, still in school, be 22 coming up. So it's time to fly, let your wings go. And
True.
Jose, how did you get get involved with the Halstead group? Or what is it? The
Halstead team. You
Sorry.
call us anything you want.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have the in there. It just said the Halsteads. So I added my own thing.
Yeah, well, Brian's wife, Norma, she's been a family friend for forever. When I got my license, I kind of didn't know what to do next. And I reached out to her, and they took me under their wing, and here I am.
That's it? That fast, huh?
Yeah.
Because if I remember right, when you first got here, you were put through school by another company. Right, because they wanted to help vets, and that, not that there was no catch at all in that, whether or not you had to stay or not, and that was great of him. What have you learned? We've only got about a minute before break. Can you quickly throw in a couple things you've learned since you've went on different? Is in real estate in the last year?
Oh, everything. I didn't know anything when when you start, you kind of just.
Was there anything that shocked you more than anything else?
Your database.
How important that is?
Yes. I was just sitting on it and never using it. And,
that's the most important thing. Yeah. There's people who have been in this industry for 20 years and never talked to their database.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and because you're only as it's like us with if dentists do it, everybody does it. They they contact their people all the time to stay on top of it, and we need to do the same thing.
Yeah.
People want to hear what's going on.
Yeah.
With what's their property value going up? Where's it at? What am I doing? I'll get into this a little bit more, but there's been a lot of stuff out there how people are staying much longer in homes and they're not moving as much, and we'll get into that when we get back.
Yeah.
So let's take a break, and we'll be right back with our guest. If you want to get in contact with us, you can reach us at #250, say the key phrase Real Estate Jerky. Again, that was #250, key phrase Real Estate Jerky, and we'll talk to you when we get back. So, first one down.
How'd that go?
Good. Perfect. Just try to drag out your answers a little bit longer and think a little bit longer before you answer.
Okay.
Just because it'll make longer conversation. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
I had one guy who was on here, he's like, I'm like, okay, we'll be done in 9 minutes and we'll be looking at each other for the next 30. What's the matter?
Let me adjust his mic over here. It's
I'm only at like 0.
Here we go.
All right.
And which one's yours?
I'm here.
This one?
Yeah. Am I too loud?
No, you're good. Their mics are a little low.
Supposed to be that way. Like Johnny Carson having his seat up on a ledge and everybody else lower.
Yeah. Is it okay that we mention that we give 20% of our gross commission back
To whom?
To the veterans?
To each individual person, or do you give it to something?
We whatever the lender will allow. You know.
Oh, so
If
you
it's-
give your commission back to the person who? Yeah, I mean you can say that, and you also want to say your company name, your phone number a few times. When you say your phone number, say it twice, so that people can contact you from now. This is all about who you guys are and everything about you.
All right.
Do you want to bring up anything about rivers and recovery, any of that kind of stuff this time? It's up to, this is your life story. You tell me how much you want to get out there and how much you don't want to get out there. This is all for your thing. So if you want to move on from that, I'm good. It's up to you, man.
No, just try to stick to this.
Well, I mean, I don't know how far you want to get into what happened to you and that kind of stuff. Why during the surgeries, why you thought about, like you talked about last time. We don't, they can go back and listen to it at the other time if that's good with you, or you can talk about it now. It's up to you.
No, whatever you want to do, man, that's fine with me.
All right, someone bring us back. And what does she have here? All right, you want to talk? All right, let's talk about veterans. Talk about what you do for them. We'll talk about. I'll bring up some stuff about you guys all know the difference in the programs, especially what's happening in January, right? You don't know what's going on in January?
What's going on?
Okay, I'll tell you online.
Okay.
Everybody can buy. Vets can buy a house at any price point, at 100% financing.
Oh wow.
Yeah. No longer by county. Like Yolo County's 525, and we're only 484.
484, 350.
Yeah, no, it's whatever they want to buy.
Holy moly.
Yeah, I think it's up to $1 million. The only negative is the mortgage, the funding fee goes up.
Okay.
Most of the people I know are at least 10% disabled vets, so they don't pay it anyway.
Yeah.
Are you a disabled vet at all?
No.
See, I complained enough when I got out.
Yeah.
And my medical record was that thick because of I worked in physical therapy and I picked up so many patients, there was burn, and then I got hurt from that I'm automatically 10%. If you have 10% or greater, your kid's going to go to school for free in California under the Cal Vet program.
Nancy, I should have done something.
You can always go back. It's too late now, but your kid's already graduated.
I broke my neck at the police department, and 100% never, I don't get a dime.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for nothing.
That's good. Well, I'll bring us back and we'll talk about VA, and I'll bring up the thing what I just said.
Okay.
All right. It's usually better for me to drop this stuff on, everything we're talking about here is what we should be talking online or on the radio.
Yeah.
Okay? All right, let's get back. All right. You ready over there?
Real Estate Jerky is back on Power Talk 1360. Chew on that.
That's right, we're back. And for those of you just tuning in, I'm Ed Parcaut, mortgage advisor at Lending for a Living, and your host. I'm here with my guest, Jose Jauregui.
Great. You got it down now.
And Brian Halstead.
Yes, sir.
They are Realtors with the Halstead team. Not Real It Tours, but Realtors.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, not like lawyer tours, right? It's funny how many people in our industry say that word so wrong.
I know.
Yeah, they add an I. There's no I in there. Just keep it out. So during the break, we were talking about vets and the whole thing of the show, and you were bringing up something that you guys do for veterans that you work with. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. At the Halstead team, we give 20% of our gross commission back to veterans. There are some lending limits sometimes, but we'll work around that and make sure you get your discount because we appreciate the service. A lot of people say that, and we like to back it up with what we do. So so we end up working with a lot of veterans, and we give it back to police, firefighters, anybody who serves, really, without asking for anything. They just go out there day in and day out and serve us every day. So we want to make sure we give back to them in some real and some way that this seems real to them.
Right. Why don't you tell them your phone number again?
Okay.
It's Halstead Team.
The Halstead Team at 209-712-0684. It's 209-712-0684.
All right. That's how you get in touch with them. We'll have them say that again throughout the show. The other thing we were talking about during the break is vets and loans, and I was explaining that in January, I think it's January 1st or January, first part of January, the VA loan is changing.
That's amazing.
Not bad, but good. One part good, one part bad, which is basically they'll no longer have a loan limit for VA loans. So that means if you're a Modesto and you wanted to buy a $600,000 home now with 100% financing, you can.
That is
which is huge different than it was, because before you'd have to do this factor, and anything over the conforming loan limit, today, which is 484, 350, you'd have to bring in. I always say just divide it by 4 and bring that in. So, if it's $100,000, you have to bring in $25,000. Where now you won't. The negative side of it is that the funding fee goes up. I don't know the exact number right now because I didn't write it down, but it's not going to be that. I mean, it's financed anyway, right? And for most people who are at least 10% disabled or greater, you don't pay the funding fee anyway.
That's nice.
And then I also brought up, which a lot of people don't realize, that if you are 10% disabled up or greater, your kids can go to school for free in California under the CalVet program, which is the UC system, the state schools, and the JCs. And that has nothing to do with your GI Bill or any of that kind of stuff. It's totally different from that.
That's outstanding.
So if you are a vet and you are at least 10% disabled or greater, look into it. A lot of people look at it and they say, well, it has limits on how much you can make, right, under certain programs for the kid itself. That's true, but most of that's $12,000. I think it's $12,700 right now. So you have a limit at home and they don't work much.
Yeah.
Make $800 a month. That's enough if you live at home. You don't need more money than that.
That's right.
Right? You're taking everything from your parents. It's not until you move out that you realize how much toilet paper costs, how much this costs, how much this costs.
That's for sure.
All the personal items. Not that we figured that out because we left, right? I joined the service and everything was provided for me when I left home.
Yeah.
Left at 17 and never looked back. So let's get into real estate stuff. Now you do, I think you were talking before the show, you didn't have much listings, but you were saying stuff like Valley Springs, is that correct?
Well, what I was saying is Valley Springs is like on sale. When you go up there and you look at some of these houses, we're helping a client sell one here in Modesto and buy one in Valley Springs. It's a third again the house, 5 times the land, and it's only $419.
Wow. And you were saying up there they don't have the fire issue that they have like in Tuolumne County and other places. Is that correct?
Yeah, they don't have you don't have to worry about the fire insurance like you do in some of the other places higher up in the foothills. Valley Springs is at 650 feet is the highest.
So it's not that high.
Yeah, and I'm not saying there's no fire hazard anywhere, but they don't have the issue with the insurance and getting the insurance that they do. Up farther in the foothills, like we have a listing in Arnold, it's going to be an issue.
Yeah, but I don't know if USAA, they can check in. A lot of I found, because for myself up in Cold Springs, it's on the other side. That's,
right.
It's 5,200. I was able to get USAA insurance up there, and they're good for insurance. We'll leave it at that. Yeah. I mean, I was surprised because I was when we first bought the place up there, I was at $2,500 plus broker fee for Lloyd's of London because nobody would insure it, and that was 6 years ago. And then we got canceled by then, and I went to USAA, and they signed it right up for $896 a year.
Outstanding.
Yeah, but that went up to 1,500, but it's still good compared to where it was.
Yeah.
And I see that insurance is an issue throughout the state, in certain places, LA, San Diego, certain things where there are fires or could be fires. There's always those issues.
Yeah.
You're so quiet over there, Jose. You don't have anything to say?
Oh, no, listening.
No, listening here, man. You guys start talking. You're a third of the show. So you get the rest of it.
Now we'll jump in.
So I know. So this has been your first year
Yeah.
in business as an agent, and you're 4 years. So I mean, your first year, like you said, you didn't know anything.
Yeah.
Right? Don't even know how to write a contract. Really.
No, everything's been.
Yeah, and everything's new. You don't understand that when you check a box on the contract that you have to provide that to the lender.
Yeah.
Right. I actually teach a class for first-time agents, right, when they've never been an agent before, and I go through the contract, what to look for and what not to do, or if you do, how that will affect the loan and affect getting a loan on that property.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. I even teach some. I have agents who have been in the business for a long time come to those classes, and they go, "Gosh, I wish I would have seen that before I started doing this." Yeah.
Yeah. And I tell you, one of the good things is one of the things you should always look at when you're a buyer is look at the lender you go to and their reputation. Like someone like you would be a good person to go to.
Thank you.
Because the first thing we do is we, when we get an offer, is we look and see who the lender is. We give them a phone call. And we usually don't give them a phone call just right that minute. We give them a phone call at about 6 o'clock at night because we want to know their availability, and because when things start going wrong, we want to have somebody who's willing to go the extra mile. And 6 o'clock's the extra mile, right?
Right. And they also, from what I see, most people want to go with somebody local.
Right. Oh,
Because your
absolutely.
reputation's everything, and if you're local, if you mess up, people know about it.
Yeah.
When you're outside and go through just the computer people, there's nothing there for you.
It's a nightmare, guy.
Yeah.
It is a nightmare.
And you guys would know because you experience it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
I picked up more deals from other places because of it.
Yeah. Yeah. You usually go to a local person to save a loan that one of those other people are screwing up.
Right. And also, I mean, most people think they get such a better deal outside of the local community when they don't. Most of the local guys like myself, we're able to meet or beat those guys. Plus, we have the service.
Yeah. Well, I personally tested it myself, and you don't get a better deal.
Yeah.
So it's even. I've had mortgage brokers tell me, hey, you'll probably get a better deal somewhere else. No, don't do that. You won't get a better deal somewhere else.
And now with the real resurgence of mortgage brokers now because of how everything's changing, where it's most people don't understand. I mean, the mortgage broker industry was 68% of the market before the downturn.
Yeah.
Right. So less than a third of loans went to the banks and other type of lenders, and during the downturn, it went the other way because they controlled the property, and you had to get pre-qualified with them if you wanted to buy their real estate owned. Now it's completely going the other way because people see the issues.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, any stories regarding helping veterans that you're?
No, it's just one of those things you just chug away at. You just keep on going at it. There's no big.
See, my biggest thing is what I run into all the time is people don't realize how they can use their VA loan, how they can buy their house, that they really don't have to come in with any money. There's, we used to hear years ago, and I'm talking back in the 90s, and that they call it VA no, right? No down, no closing costs. And basically, all your stuff is covered for in the loan. You can still do those, but it just depends on, is that best for you, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then and that loan itself, with a lot of agents who've been in the business for a very long time, didn't realize is there's no longer non-allowables.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing too. Is it used to be VA was considered a nightmare,
Right.
And now like you said, there's no more of this, no more of that. Now there's going to be no more limit.
Right.
I mean, a lot of people, they would look at a VA loan in the past and think, oh my God, I'm going to have to do all this. I'm going to. No, they're just like any other loan.
Right.
And you just work your way through them just like any other loan would.
The only thing is the pest report has to be clear.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, it should be that way when you're selling. But I mean, I understand we're living in a seller's market in certain price points, and they're like, I'm selling it as is. If you don't want it, too bad. I'll get somebody else to buy it.
Yeah, but I mean, clearing a pest report is not as bad as some people, unless it's just an absolutely terrible house. And then who wants it?
Right. I mean, correct. Somebody does. Conventional.
That's true.
But the reason that they have that there is to protect the veteran, and people don't realize. I mean, the VA loan is there. They want to look out for the veteran. They protect the veteran, period. I remember when I bought my first house, it had under the eaves, the paint was chipping.
Yeah.
And so I went in there and I took care of that myself, put a little primer on it, and was good to go, because the seller did want to do it.
Yeah.
So there's things that you need to do that, might not work on everything else, but it is nothing like it used to be. It is so much easier.
Yeah, very simple.
Yeah. So we're going to go out to another break here.
Excellent.
That's pretty fast. So it's already, it's time to break again. Listeners, stay where you are. When we get back, Brian and Jose will share some properties if they have it and some updates on the real estate market. This is Real Estate Jerky, and we'll be right back.
All right, you're on the spot now. I should have just said Jose.
There you go.
That was, all right, so that I actually jumped the gun on the real estate thing because that was actually 6. So we're not at the final segment. But we'll do it anyway.
You guys are rocking it.
So I jumped over to the last one for them to talk about real estate.
That's cool. Did you bring the printouts?
No.
They did.
We're probably going to have to send, because this is what we got. Can we email you?
That's you guys.
But that's okay.
Right? That's a client
That's
copy.
fine. That's
okay.
fine.
Yeah.
Well, we did for one place, but not for another.
Well, as long as I have the address, I can look it up.
Oh, okay.
I just go to realtor.com and
Oh, yeah, that's right.
pull it up, pull the pictures up, and make a post, and it's all groovy.
All right, you want to read that one or this one?
I'll read this one.
Okay.
You cool with that?
Anything we should talk about?
No, you're doing great.
Oh, why are we talking about everything we're talking about personally?
No, it's going good.
Okay.
Going very good. Excellent day. Both of you guys, both of you guys' voices that are like way down there on
Yes,
the
they are.
registry. I like it.
I'm just getting my thoughts together. Usually she has a lot more questions for me to ask you guys. She thought you were full of it.
We can just have back and forth, man.
Yeah, that works for me. So when we come back, we'll talk about your properties, and then we'll talk about what you've seen out there. You've seen it's still a tight market. You've seen it, I don't know how it is for you, but basically it's. So I have an agent who was stationed out of Joaquin County in Twainhart. She moved to Sacramento, and her husband runs the asphalt turf company or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And all the people are from other places, and she's helping them now buy houses, and a lot of them want to buy down here.
Yeah.
And she's finding out how hard it is down here to get a FHA offer accepted
Really?
in Modesto area. Yes, just because there's multiple offers. I don't know.
Oh,
how to-
yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah. Where at Joaquin County, and hardly any multiple offers.
Yeah. Yeah, you can pretty much work the price down a little bit,
Up there, yeah.
Yeah.
People have been dropping the price up there because of that fire stuff over the last 2
Yeah.
months, which has got a lot of people into $200,000 homes. When I first started working up there 6 years ago, it was 300 was my minimum
Yeah.
up there, and now it's we found smaller ones that are for sale. All right, let's bring us back. Jose, you want to bring it back in? I'm just kidding.
Yeah. We're back.
Are you getting mad at me for talking too much, or?
Well, he needs to talk. No one's there. You should make him explain the properties.
Yeah, well, we're going to do one-on-one.
All right, that works. All right.
Oh, shit, no, did it lock on you?
Real Estate Jerky is back on Power Talk 1360. Chew on that.
That's right, we're back. I'm here with my guest, Jose Jauregui and Brian Halstead. They are agents with the Halstead team, and I'm your host, Ed Parcaut, mortgage advisor for Lending for Living. So before break, I said we were going to come back, talk about some real estate. Do you have a couple of listings you want to talk about?
Sure, Jose,
Who's
go ahead.
first?
Yeah, we got a beautiful condo in the Venetian Garden community. If you're familiar with the area, it's probably the best area
Is that Stockton?
in Stockton.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a 2-bedroom, possible 2-bath.
Is it like a den without a closet or something? Is that
Yeah,
what it's
yeah,
about?
kind of like an office space.
Not all of our listeners are in the real estate industry, so they don't always understand. So you paint them the picture. So they walk in this place. What do they see?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's all been repainted, great new floor and
What kind of floors?
wood floors.
And what about counters?
It's got granite.
Original.
Original. Okay.
They're tile.
That's fine.
original.
I'm just curious. Trying to paint this picture here. All right, so we got this condo, 2 bedrooms, possibly 3 bath.
Yeah,
I mean 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 1 bath. How
2
baths?
bath.
Okay.
Yeah, it's over 1,600 square feet.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a big one. It's really nice. You gotta see it to appreciate it. And it's good. It's been offered at $295.
Okay. And HOA?
Yes.
How much is the HOA?
Oh,
400.
400.
Yeah.
Yeah, for most people who don't know what that is, that's homeowners association.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that covers the pools, everything else that the place takes care of that you don't take care of.
Yeah. It's got a pool, clubhouse.
Nice place,
Got
I
it.
take it.
Oh, it's really nice.
Got a great pond behind it with a fountain and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Now, is this by besides the pond? Where is it exactly located in Stockton?
It's
Since I don't
near
know.
Delta College.
Okay,
Kind of
gotcha.
behind it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and that was price point again?
$295.
All right, and if they want to see it, how do they contact you,
Yeah,
Jose?
if you want to check it out, you can give me a call at 209-981-0951. Again, that's 209-981-0951.
You have an email?
Yeah, it's Jose at thehalsteadteam.com.
That was easy.
Yeah.
All right, Brian, you have one?
Yeah, there's we got one up in Arnold at 2222 Mustang Place. It is a cute cabin. It's like, it's where you go when you don't want to hear noise. You don't want to see lights. And when it gets dark at night, it's dark. You get to see the stars and everything. It's gets a little bit of snow, but not a lot.
Well, it's Arnold.
It's 4 bedrooms, 1.5 baths. It's 1,440 square feet. Just a beautiful place. So if you want to take a look at that one, just call me at 209-712-0684. That's 209-712-0684.
Now, what would you say your market is that you do a lot, that you work in a lot more than others? That's Stockton, Lodi. I mean, San Joaquin?
Well,
I know you can work all over California, but I'm just
where we say we work is Modesto to South Sac, Tracy to Valley Springs.
okay.
And up to Sonora, but where we do most of our business is Stockton.
What are you seeing in the market right now? Is it a seller's market, buyer's market? Is it a normal market? Do you know?
And Stockton, Lodi, it's kind of evened off. Elk Grove, Elk Grove's been hot for a while. Valley Springs is, like I said, it's on sale. Up in the foothills, everything's moving a little bit slow. People are mostly getting into their primary residences now, and the second residences will come later. Sonora is pretty good. It's about even, but Modesto, like you said, was hot. It's hard to get into it.
Yeah. Well, and we're actually going up. CoreLogic put that we're going up 10% this year.
Yeah.
We went up 5% in the first 6 months, and now we're going up 5% the second. And I'm just repeating what CoreLogic said, not me.
There's some beautiful new places in the Lathrop area, or Lathrop
Right.
and Manteca. Those are looking real nice, but those are new home builds. So.
Right. But I mean, what I'm seeing in a lot of the areas around here is the problem is, one, we don't have enough homes still. We're not building enough homes yet.
Right.
One of the articles I read recently had about how people are living in their homes longer. They're living in their homes 16 to 20 years, where they used to be 7 and then 10. Now it's even longer. So that took out another 1.8 million homes out of the market.
Yeah.
So that's why it's even tighter. And then you look at how many millennials are turning 33 each year, and what's that important is because that's the median age for first-time home buyers is 33.
Yeah.
And there's more of them every year going forward than the year before. So basically, they're talking about housing market and it's going to get worse and we're going to see a downturn. Some people, I'm not saying this, but I don't see that because of the property. Even though we have they're saying a net exodus out of California, we're absorbing that because we still don't have enough homes.
Yeah.
I don't know how you see it.
There's still people attracted to California because of the jobs and the pay and everything like that.
And the weather.
And the weather.
Yeah, I tell everybody, when you leave California, first thing you have to worry about is weather.
Yeah. Well, what they do is they leave California, they go to wherever they're going to go to, and then they save $5,000 so they can take a 2-week trip to California with the family. Okay.
Right. I mean, and for us, I always look at what's been going on, and I deal with the mortgages, and those are driven by fear in the market, what's going on, and it's been such a crazy market with interest rates over the last month and prior. Where when I first got in this industry, the flexibility, how things did change interest rate wise was drastic every day. Right. Yeah. And then for a period of time there. For about 8 years, it wasn't so drastic, right? And now we're back to volatile rates every day, every week. And one of the problems we run into is people hear, Fannie Mae or somebody comes out and they talk about what rates were last week.
Yeah.
Well, that was last week.
That was last week.
This week, they're much higher, or they could be completely opposite, much lower. And because everybody's talking about how rates are so low, and rates are low. We're a point lower than we were last year at this time, right?
Yeah.
But we were half a point lower than that 4 months ago.
Yep.
And it's still, rates are amazing because I got into this. I was taking people from 13 to 9 and they love me. I give somebody a 3.75 now and they think I'm taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
Right? It's about being the rates where they're so low that people don't realize that they can fluctuate and they can change overnight.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I try to explain it to my staff it's not exactly the same, but if you're in a hospital and you hear the code blue, right? Everybody drops everything, runs over that helps the patient. Otherwise, the patient dies, right? If they don't run over there. That's how rates are.
Yeah.
Before you lock that rate, if people aren't noticing where the rate is, are you locked, not locked, that loan could die.
Yeah.
And I try to explain that. That's how important locking that rate is.
Yeah.
Because you can lock the rate, and with brokers, then they can move you to somebody else if it really changes that much. But they always say you can't catch a falling knife, right? And basically that's what everybody wants, the lowest rate. But then what happens is they usually take the higher rate on the other way up.
Yeah, yeah.
So
you cannot time it. Like I tell people, the time to buy is when it's best for you.
Right.
You can't time the market. If you try to, it just can't be done.
Right. Well, and some people get lucky. They sold at the top of the market, and now they sat on their cash and they came back in. Well, that's 1 out of every 1,000 people did that. Right now, people are like, I think I'm going to sell and wait for it to drop. Well, good luck with that.
Yeah, because you don't know where the top is. And,
and again, until we build more homes, and we get close to the rate that we need to be building homes at, which is $1 million something a year, we're not going to see that.
Yeah.
Well, we would need some major disaster to come in. So
the big market right now is apartment buildings. I don't sell apartment buildings, but that's the millennials want to move into something that they don't have to mow a lawn, or they're working so hard just to make a buck, just to be able to afford their place as a condo or apartment.
Right.
Where they don't have to do a whole lot of work at home because they're doing most of their work on the road, getting to their job and doing their job. But it's an interesting market. There's a lot of people that are going to be aging out of their houses pretty soon.
I keep hearing that, but they're not moving.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the
unless you're talking aging where they wheel them out.
Yeah. their reverse mortgages kick into gear.
Well, a lot of them. I've been doing a lot more reverse mortgages for people to stay in their home that they don't want to sell. Where before they would sell and go buy somewhere else, or right, and they don't want to do that, or they'll sell and then they'll do a reverse mortgage on their next house.
Yeah,
so they don't have a payment anymore. And a lot of people don't understand. They go, why would they want to do that? Because that's still like $1,000 a month of income that they didn't plan for. Their life changed because of the downturn in the market. It hurt a lot of people.
Yeah, sure did.
So, all right, so that's what I'm seeing, and also, refinance applications are up, purchases are up. Everything's up because rates are still historically low.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what you guys seeing?
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of
We
buyers.
have a lot of people that call us as the realtors that got them into the house, wanting to refinance and reconnect with the loan officer they used, or
And they're not, and that loan officer isn't reaching out to them?
Yeah, sometimes they just don't do it. You know,
I'll give them my number.
You know?
I'll reach out to them. I'll put them in my complete drip campaign forever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then there's I'll talk to you guys afterwards. There's a new software that actually goes to them and talks about where their house is value-wise and this and that. It's pretty cool out there, and it's for everybody.
Excellent.
Yeah. All right. So those are the only 2 listings. We need to get you some more listings.
Yeah. Well, we actually we have 3, but the other one's a 5-acre chunk of property.
Is it land only?
Yeah, land only, and it's irrigated, so there's
Where's it
no
at?
well, no power. It's outside of Manteca, just south of Manteca on Union Road.
What's the price of it?
It's $400,000.
And how's it zoned?
It's zoned. It's zoned residential 40 or ag 40, which means you can have one house on 40 acres.
Right.
However, there's 3 houses right around it.
Right. So, and actually, and a lot of people don't realize Ag 40 can change.
Yeah.
And we can bring that up when we come
Well,
back.
that's the thing is it's just right outside of the Del Webb. So, I mean, they're going to change it eventually, right?
Or they could have, but it was still on, it hasn't been changed on the actual title. Because I
Yeah.
had one that was zoned Ag 40 when it wasn't Ag 40 anymore. It was only 5 acres.
I'm glad
But
you
it's
said
still
that to
on
me.
that. All right, hey, let's take our break, and when we come back, we'll talk more with Jose and Brian. Again, this is Real Estate Jerky. You can reach us at pound 250, say the key phrase Real Estate Jerky, and we'll talk to you when we get back.
So
Sorry, bro.
you're good. No, you actually are perfect because I went under on the last 2.
Okay.
So we'll only have about 9 minutes this time. My problem is I didn't say everything I should have said. Okay, so the reason I asked about that, because land's important. I just bought 32 acres up in Toledo to build on eventually. Our
Nice.
permanent, my wife came to me and said, I don't want to be around people when I retire. She works at Kaiser. I'm like, you couldn't have said this 5 years ago? When we bought our cabin? I could have got a really screaming deal then.
Yeah.
Because we bought our cabin 6 years ago, and that thing doubled in value from when we bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we bought it at the perfect tipping point up there. Nobody wanted them still. They're just a little slow, and then everybody wanted them after the snows, the 2 big snows.
Yeah.
Then everybody wanted that stuff.
Yeah.
And the only thing that's hurt is just people who had most of their homes paid off up there,
Yeah.
or don't have a mortgage at all, and then their insurance went up and they barely use it. The flood of the market was 60 homes.
Yeah. Yep. That's just
So
like
that,
it.
that's the issue. Other than that, but I got people getting into homes up there
Yeah.
that can't afford anywhere else. They're buying a house for $107,000. Yeah, it's only 500 and some square feet,
Yeah.
but it's perfect for them. 1 bedroom, bath, and this is perfect for what they want.
Yeah.
They can't get that anywhere else. Maybe Valley Springs.
Not even Valley Springs is that low, but.
So
yeah,
anyway,
it's-
so the acreage could have been zoned to where they can split it, like rezone it to build a
Yeah.
couple houses on it. They have to check with the city. Mine up there is not ag, it's 5. It's basically 5 acres, zoned R5. Some people think R5 means you can put 5,
Yeah.
right? No, it means 5 acres. Mine, and even though it's 32, and then we have a easement down the middle, kind of in the middle, that's a TUD, that's another 2 acres. So it's really like 34 acres. And I'm putting a gate at both of those ends because I found out it was an easement just for TUD, which is going to piss off a lot of people who've been cutting through our property for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
But it's not,
It's
it's
just-
just
yeah.
the way it is. Sorry,
Yeah.
deal with it.
All I gotta do is give TUD the code.
Right, exactly. And the fire department
Yeah.
and maybe PG&E if we let them bring poles down our place.
Man, we had one that was 200 acres and had its own lake with a dam and all that stuff. We were in the middle of that thing. It was $1.6 million, and then they started haggling back and forth. Got down to 1.4, and the seller said, "Screw it, I'm not going to do it." I'm like, dang it, man!
All right, so we got 9 minutes left. 9 minutes or less.
You got 9 minutes with 1 minute.
You don't always have to say that 1 minute.
Thank you.
So what I do is after we're done, then I do this. She gives me like a whole paragraph I have to say for like next week and all that stuff.
Roger that.
So I just let you guys finish, get out of here, and then I do my little thing. It makes it easier for me. All right, so
Ready when you are.
all right, give me a sec. All right, so we got to talk about some more real estate stuff for 9 minutes. What do you want to bring up?
Jose,
Come on, Jose.
you're the man.
So Jose, has there been any? So let's bring this personal. Either one of you, about a client that you helped that didn't think they could get into a property, got them a certain property that they didn't think they could afford. I mean, there's got to be one of those in the last year. Something that you helped that you didn't even know you could help them. Something. Think about it for a second.
Well, I got one, but
Then I'll say, let's come back. We'll come back and let's make this personal. Let's talk about some of our clients, not say their names, and we'll go from there. Work? You can think while he's doing his. There's got to be some vet you helped. Did you help a vet this year?
Just one.
And where was he from?
He was from Stockton. He was selling and buying.
Oh, so he already owned a home and he was
Yeah.
buying something else?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's no way. I'm just kidding. No, I mean, the best ones are people who just come back. I don't know if you're on Instagram or any of those other things. You can search by certain things like vets coming back to the area and you can hit them up and that kind of stuff. So, you have one though?
well, that one that did 10 years and of hard time for.
Oh.
But I mean,
Let's keep it vets.
Oh,
Was he a vet?
that's not.
It's,
Okay.
Well, we're a vet. Today we're kind of celebrating Veterans Day
Okay,
on
yeah.
Monday, so that this comes Saturday, 12 to 1, and then Sunday 10 to 11 repeats. So it's really for Veterans Day.
Yeah,
Okay,
gotcha.
so it didn't have to be this last year. It could be in your history. Just somebody that you helped. Like I helped a vet who had a house, but they wanted to go buy a big property enough to get everything on it, and I helped them, fix how to fix their house so they could sell it. I didn't list it, but I helped them, and then I helped them get the other property, and they never thought they could get the other property. They were able to sell this property, get $35,000 to pay for the difference, the $200,000 difference between the two properties at the time. So they were buying a $565,000 home. Right, so they had to come with $35,000 because it was in Oakdale, right, VA wise. And so they bought a home and they were shocked that they were able to get into this. It was close to the golf course, a house they never thought they'd be able to afford, right? But they were able to with the VA loan. So they're just, I don't know, see if there's anything you can talk about or how you help. What's the process? Batteries okay?
Yeah, I'm checking on
the
the
process. If somebody calls you, what's the process you go through? What do you do? Something along those lines. We got anything here?
Yeah, I got something.
Okay, all right.
Probably got more.
Leaving the bull behind. It's Real Estate Jerky.
We're back with our final segment. I'm Ed Parcaut, mortgage advisor at Lending for Living, with my guest Jose Jauregui.
Yep.
Yep.
There you
All
go.
right. I'm trying. It's still hard for me today. Brian Halstead. They are realtors with Halstead Team and Veterans. And we are all three. I'm Navy, they're Army, and we all get along, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes.
We'll deal
Right?
with you.
Yeah.
I didn't realize when my son was joining how big the Army is.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it's the largest force and how big it is and how,
Yeah.
yeah, I was
huge.
shocked. And we got to go to North Carolina, then South Carolina, Fort Jackson, someplace I never want to go back to. I don't know how people deal with the humidity, but they do.
It's a whole nother country over there too, man.
I mean, I remember when I went there, I think I talked about this before, that, one day it rained. I didn't know it could get any hotter, and it was 99 and it rained. And you come here and you get off the plane and you land in San Jose and it's 90, and normally I'd be complaining, wow, it's hot, right? And then I was like, man, this feels so good. Just go there for a week, and then you'll realize how good you have it here.
Yeah, you just stand still and perspire when you're over there.
8 o'clock in the morning, it's foggy and it's hot.
Yeah.
And that's why we were talking about before, the next, people are leaving California. They do, but then some of them come back because they don't realize where they're moving to and what they're getting into. Right?
Yeah.
It's always grass is always greener on the other side.
Yeah, but then
Till
you
you get
find out
there.
it's fertilized with
Yeah.
horse poop.
Yeah. Something. All right, so let's break this a little personal. Any stories you have helping clients or?
Well, I tell you, there's no real big, throw on my cape and fly for anybody, it's just we work extra for veterans. You put in that extra effort. You work hard for everybody,
Right.
But when it's someone who, like we had a friend who was limited to what they could do in the amount of money that they can pay, and in this market here, it was $250 or $250,000, and that's kind of hard. And we were looking at Modesto.
That's really hard.
Yeah, and Riverbank. So there was nothing. Everything was you put in an offer and someone's offering over you.
And cash.
Yeah, and so it was looking pretty bad. We were going for weeks and weeks and weeks, and we love the people. The couple is just fantastic. So we're working hard for them. And then I have another friend who said, "Hey man, I'm getting out of here. I'm going to Tennessee, and I need to sell my place." So I go, "Shoot, let's take a look at it." Well, he was in a situation where he had been in the house since it was brand new. He just wanted to leave, and it needed some love. He was happy to get out of that house, and I told him, "Hey, listen, you can put some money into this place, and we could sell it for $305 all day long, or you can sell it to a flipper for $250." And that was my honest analysis of it. I hadn't even thought of this other couple we had been working with. So he goes, okay. So he looks up another friend of ours, and the guy says, "Hey, I can do the work for $60,000. At the same time, the house in Tennessee that he had been looking at had an offer on it, and it went back on the market. He's like,
so now he's motivated.
"Oh, dude, I could put in $60,000 and get $305, or I can get $250 right now." And I was like, "Wow!" And so I went to this other couple, said, "Let's go take a look at the house, see if you're willing to do it." And so they looked at the house, they just fell in love with it. They bought it. He's off to Tennessee, and having a great time there in Tennessee with him and his wife. And they rebuilt the house, man. They tore down walls. They put
really?
up walls. They did all kinds of. It looks absolutely beautiful, and that's just kind of everybody puts in that kind of work for people, right? But
Yeah.
you just find the people the right thing. And you stick with it, and maybe because he was a Marine, I stayed with it a little bit longer than I would have. But not really. I mean, I do that kind of work for everybody. But he's very deserving. He worked hard for our country. His wife works hard as well for the local police department, and they deserve to have someone. And that's why I said I got into business, was to help people do things where other realtors kind of just give up and stop calling them or stop answering their phone. I don't want to be that guy.
I mean, it's really nice helping people get into their home, and
especially if they're a vet.
Right. And then trying to find, I always tell people, I need to know the hand I'm dealt so I know how to play my cards, right? You need to tell me everything so I know what I can do for you. Because I've had people say, "What can I get?" I'm like, that's like me betting before I even have my hand. I have no idea whether I need to fold whatever, walk away, or if I should bet.
Yeah.
And so, I get people to... For me, it's like you have to sit down with a lender first.
Absolutely.
See what you can afford, because you don't want to look at the wrong house. And then if you can't afford certain things, it and what you can do to fix it and move forward. Because I do a lot of that. I help people who, they come to me and they say, "My credit's at 600." I'm like, "Let's do a couple things before you go buy, so we can get you to 640 at least." Because VA, FHA, in that price point, it's not a major difference.
Yeah.
But conventional wise, unless you got a 720 or certain things, then there's a huge difference as you're coming down with the pricing.
Yeah, and what's important too is don't read things in Fortune 500 and or any other magazine, or listen to anything before you go. Don't say, "I need to do this. I need to buy a truck to improve my credit score." right? You need to go talk to a lender to improve your credit score, because they're the only ones who can tell you exactly what to do.
Pay down your credit cards. Don't buy that truck until after you get into your home.
Affirmative.
And don't do anything while you're in the process.
Yeah.
But I mean, and it's and sometimes people can, because I've done a lot where people go to buy on FHA, and they have to add somebody else on there as a non-occupying co-borrower.
Yeah.
And I always try to help people on their first home go buy a duplex, a triplex. That way they can, once they're ready, especially if they're single, right? Why get a single family home when you can have two other people pay your mortgage for you?
Yep.
right? And so, I mean, and it's not real easy. It's a lot of work to get through that. And the problem with VA is, and I don't know if they're changing this, is you can't use the rents to qualify,
Yeah.
which is a disservice for the vet.
Yeah. Well, we had another one like that too, just like that, where they wanted to live in a tiny home. So we looked and looked and looked, and we found them a place with 2 houses on it and room for their tiny home. So the people in the 2 houses are paying off their mortgage while they're living free in their tiny home.
But they're actually living in one of the houses, right?
They're living in the tiny home.
There wasn't a tiny home
no,
on
I'm
there.
sorry. Yeah, they do. They actually live in the house. Yeah, and then they have someone in the tiny home.
Yeah, you got to be careful there.
I can't remember who they are though.
And that's the thing, when people buy houses as primary residents, they need to be primary residents. I had somebody where he was married still, moved to California, right? They're not divorced yet. California, Arizona both have, we got 1 minute left, both have community property, right? So basically, if you're still married, you have to, if you're doing a VA or FHA loan, you have to use that person's debts against you. And if they're not going on the loan, you still have to use the debts against you, but you don't get to use their income. Mm. And so it ended up being where we flipped it. We figured out that the best way to do it is a 10% down second home.
Yeah.
One of his issues is because you can have a lot of people don't realize this, you can have 2 VA loans at the same time.
Yeah.
But you have to be within your eligibility, right? He was short by $34,000, so he would have had to bring 10% in, over 10% in anyway.
Yeah.
So it made more sense for him to do that way. So that's the thing that we do is, and I'm sure it's the same thing, is find out what we have and work to see how we can get them into what they want to get into.
Yep.
Right? I want to thank you guys for coming in today.
Yeah, sorry I took all your time, Jose.
Yeah.
Oh, no. That's fine.
You couldn't keep him quiet. He just talked and talked and talked. Maybe next time we
we'll
have
be
you
back
on next year at Veterans Day that you'll be able to talk more about your next year experience.
Yeah,
Right. This year, keep track of certain things, and we'll talk about it when you guys come back.
Yeah, definitely.
Outstanding.
Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.